Hello, everyone. You are welcome once again to my channel, My Green Card Story. On this channel, I invite different people that have applied for green card, and I ask them about their experience, about how they were able to obtain United States green card or permanent residence. Please kindly subscribe to this channel, like this channel, and also drop a comment. In case you want to contact me, my email is mygreencardstory@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at My Green Card Story, and also on Instagram at My Green Card Story. So in today's episode, Olanike would interview me because I'll be sharing my own green card story. So she should be the one to anchor to this episode. So Olanike, over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Olanike, and I'm excited to join Bobola on this episode, where you will be telling us all the stories or the story about his green card application. I'm really excited because I think we'll get a lot of juice from Bobola. So So Bobola, we're going to start. Like everybody says, Bobola, Bobola. Who is Bobola? Can you introduce yourself to us just briefly?
Okay, yes, my name is Bobola. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a geologist. I have a bachelor's, master's, and a PhD in geology. Right now, I work as Timecodes professor of research.
Okay.
A government agency in the US.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. Can you just help us, tell us, when did you get to the United States? How long have you been here for?
So I got to the United States in 2012. I came to the US for my master's program.
Okay.
And I've been in the US for almost 11 years now.
Yeah, that's been a journey, right?
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah. So back to EB2-NIW. When did you decide to apply for US green card? When did you decide?
Okay, I think the first time I heard about filing for green card under NIW EB2 was in 2014, and that was when I finished my master's program. So there was this man that were attending the same church together, and he just started a job with an oil servicing company. Okay. And someone was talking to him about filing for a green card, and he said, "Oh, that he has started filing for a green card. That is going to self petition. That is not waiting for his company to file for him." That was the first time I heard about filing for green card under EB2-NIW. And at almost the same time, I heard about joining the United States National Guard. So there was a program at that time that if you join as an F1 visa holder, as long as you have spent 2 years in the US, you can. There's a program that you can join the US National Guard, and within 6 months you get your US citizenship. So I had two options.
Okay, but this was in 2014, right?
That was in 2014. So that program of joining the National Guard was kind of stopped in 2017 or early 2018. So you can't. It's no longer available. It's too late.
Okay, thank you so much. So you actually heard from a church member, and I understand how you said that was in 2014. So now, what made you decide that it was the EB2-NIW route you wanted to use? Like, you just shared the National Guard. I'm sure there are other ways you could have married a nice lady in church that is a citizen, you know. Why did you decide EB2-NIW was the route you were going to take?
For me, I chose the EB2-NIW because obviously it was those that have advanced the degree, and I don't need an employer to file for me. Compared to the National Guard, that one I don't need an employer, but I need to sign to be member of the National Guard for I think 5 years or so. Then I need to go for training. So I just at that point I just wanted to be focused on my PhD. I don't think I would have been able to combine both, because for training I need to learn, I need to really be in shape, I need to jog and all that. It wasn't a big deal, but I was not just prepared for it mentally. So that's why I decided to go for the EB2-NIW route.
Yeah, I would have picked that instead. I would have picked EB2 instead of going to join the National Guard, because I don't think I can survive the drilling. So so considering you already told us your educational background, at a time, or at that time, you actually already had your master's. So what made you feel like you could self-petition? Because now when you want to do the EB2-NIW, you heard about it from your church member. Why did you feel you could do it by yourself? Why didn't you use a lawyer? Did you have someone hold you by your hands? How did you do it? Why did you decide to self-petition?
Okay, so I turned in my petition during the 3rd year of my PhD program. That was April 2018.
Yes.
So when I was putting my document together, I spoke with my PhD advisor, and she referred me to the Office of the International Student and Scholar at my university. And those people over there, they referred me to a legal clinic. So my university had a legal clinic that holds, I think, once every month or once every week. So I went to the lawyer at the legal clinic. I spoke to him, and he said, based on his research, he said filing for green card under EB2 is not his specialty. Then he said I should come 2 weeks later, that he'll go and do his research. So after 2 weeks or 1 month, I went back to him, and he said, based on his research, that those that file for green card under this category and those that get an approval are those that publish at least 3 papers.
Okay.
He asked me if I published any paper, and I said no. Then he encouraged me to wait till I publish 3 papers before filing. Well, so I was sharing the same apartment with my older sister. So it's just a Bobola, just apply. Don't mind the lawyer, apply. So I just decided to apply. I was not sure if my petition would be approved, because as at that time I've not published any paper. I only had 3 internships and 1 job for 8 months.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure if my petition would be approved. Then at that time, there was a Nigerian colleague of mine at my school. Then he's also a friend. His name is Chike. So his cousin had already applied for green card or under NIW, and his petition was approved. So Chike had his cousin's document on his laptop, like sample of his cover letter, his list of documents, and also samples of the recognition letters that his cousin Tony. So I went myself and another guy, I can't remember the name. We went to Chike's office, because Chike also was a PhD student. Went to his office to look at his cousin's document. And what I saw was mind-blowing. I mean, his cousin had published like 7 papers.
You were scared.
I was scared. He has award. He has gone to competition, I think in Germany or Netherlands.
Yes.
And he has done research. When I talk about research, good research. He has work experience for like maybe 2 years. When I saw, I'm like, Bobola, are you sure you can do this thing?
You saw that you didn't match at all.
I didn't match at all.
You didn't match up to GK's level at all.
When you see the structure of his letter, is around his research, and he was talking about, okay, see, I published this paper. I got this letter from an industry expert that is using my result, and I didn't have all that.
Yes.
So for like 3 months or 4 months, I didn't even know how to write my cover letter because I didn't have all the things that this guy had. It took me like 4 months to figure out how to write it. Anyway, I summoned the courage to apply. I have like a simple principle that I follow, that anything I want to do, I just do it. I mean, it's better I do it and maybe it doesn't work than not
doing it at all.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Oh my God. So eventually you were not intimidated by Chike's pedigree or whatever, or credentials. That is interesting. Okay. So you decided to self-petition. You saw Chike's documents.
Chike's cousin's documents.
Chike's cousin's documents. After that, what was the first step that you took to start putting together your own application package? What was the first step? What was the first thing you did?
So the first thing I did was, obviously for me, I was trying to figure out the structure or the formats for my own cover letter, because I knew the sample that I saw would not work for me because I didn't have that kind of experience. So that's why it took me 4 months to even write it. So after 4 months, I just figured out that, okay, let me just write around what I've done, like my internship experience. Okay. The problem. So I've added internship experience with oil and gas industry. So let me write about it. So okay. that was when I started taking practical steps. Then I spoke to my advisor. I spoke to my PhD advisor, then my internship advisor, and others that I work with to write a recommendation letters for me. I applied for transcript from my school as part of the document. Then for me, I've actually given a lot of presentations in professional conferences, like oral presentation and poster presentation. So I started putting together all the evidence that showed that I've given such presentations. So those were the practical steps that I took.
Okay, so I have a question for you around that recommendation letter and meeting with referees to write your letter. Did you meet with any opposition, especially because you said you had presented, so you might have met those people during presentations and things like that? Did you meet any obstacle, like somebody saying you've not published any of your work, although I know you're working on this area of research, but nothing is in print yet? Did you get that kind of discouragement, and how did you deal with it? The other side of that same question is it compulsory for you to write your reference letters? Then what number? Is there a specific number?
Is it compulsory for what?
For people to write you reference letters.
Okay, so I didn't meet any opposition when I was asking for recognition letters, because I asked from those that I've worked with. So yes. I didn't ask a complete stranger to write a recognition letter for me. For example, my PhD advisor at that time, I've been working with her for like 2 years. So she has seen my work.
Work, yeah.
It's easier for her to write for me. Then the others that I asked were those that I work with. I asked my master's advisor, and also those that I work with during my internships. So I didn't meet any opposition. However, I think there were 2 people I reached out to that I've worked with, that they should write me a letter. One did not reply, and the other one just said, "Good luck." Yeah.
Luck. So is it compulsory to write references as part of your petition?
Yeah. So I remember that I think last year, so I was speaking to someone, and they said, "Oh, that is usually a lawyer," and the lawyer said that because he has published, I think the guy has published like 5 or 7 papers. The lawyer said it's not compulsory for him on a recognition letter. So everyone has their own strategy. But if you look at USCIS website, on the page where they talk about national interest waiver implement base 2, they actually listed recognition letters from experts in your field as an example of a document that you can turn in for this petition. So for me, I would say get recognition letters and turn them in as part of your application packet.
Okay, thank you so much, Bobola. That is a good advice, especially if you know your case is not as strong. You need people to, or you need other points. So if you're getting a low percentage in one point, you need another point to get a high percentage. So you can buffer things around. Okay, thank you. So what other documents would you say were very important to filing your petition? What other documents did you attach? Did you include that you would say were very critical for the success of your application? So
for example, I would say your CV, and I tell everyone that there is a difference between a resume and a CV. A resume is the document you turn into like to a corporate organization. So let's say you want to apply to, for example, I'm a geologist. If you want to apply to a job in maybe ExxonMobil or maybe a tech job in Apple, you turn a resume, which is just like 1 or 2 page, and it's usually very, very brief. But for this kind of petition or application, a resume will do you much harm. I mean, it won't favor you at all because it doesn't contain everything you have accomplished. So I tell people to use a CV. CV is detailed CV. For example, your master's professor or your PhD advisor, what they use is a CV because it contains all the places that have worked, their qualifications, their licenses, all the students they have mentored, both bachelor's, master's, PhD, all the papers they have published, all the grants they have received, everywhere they have presented, both poster and oral. It's complete. So if you look at like a typical faculty CV, can be as long as 25, 30 pages.
Yes.
So I tell people you need to create a CV for this kind of petition. And it's very, very critical because one thing that they'll do is when you turn your application, they will see if you meet the 2 requirements. Number 1, it's either you have an advanced degree, they can easily check that from your CV, or if you have at least 5 years of work experience, and they can look at, they can easily assess that from your CV. And also they can look at other information from your CV to, like if you have published a paper, if you have presented and all that. Then another thing that I tell people to get recommendations letter. I think it will help your case to turn in recommendation letter. Good ones. Recommendation letters and their recommendation letters. I think in another episode probably I addressed this, but in any letter, your reference must be able to show that your endeavor is of national interest to the US. So that's the purpose of any letter. Okay, it's not that Olanike is a good girl, she's smart, she comes to work very early in the morning. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for content,
Yeah.
Then number 3, I mean, if you have published papers, you want to attach copies of your published papers in your application. So for now, I'll just stop there.
Okay, thank you. So important documents, your CV, your recommendation letters, and your publications if you've published. All right, yeah. Thank you so much. So can you just tell us, putting together your documents, how long did it take you? How long did it take you to put everything together before you felt like you were ready for the application?
Okay, so from the time I started to the time I submitted, it took me about 7 months.
Okay, 7 months.
Together. So the time consuming
what would you say took the longest?
What?
What would you say took the longest to get or to put together?
It is getting recommendation letters. It's always time. That's the time-consuming part.
Okay.
Because
so were you running it concurrently? Like,
yes.
Were you able to be doing other things while you were waiting on the recommendation letters?
Yeah. So while I was waiting for my recommendation letters, I started writing my petition cover letter. But I finished writing my petition cover letter, I think around March, because I started writing it January of 2018, and I finished around March. But I was still waiting for one more recognition letter that did not come in until I think the first week of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nice. So can you just briefly share your timeline with us? So from the day you made your application or you submitted your application to USCIS to the day you got your green card physically, can you share the timeline with us?
Sure. So I turned in my application in April 2018.
Okay.
My petition was approved October 2018, so it was approved within 6 months.
Oh,
then
fast.
In November, November 2018, I turned in my adjustment of status documents. By December 2018, I did my biometrics. Then I got my EAD card. I think April or maybe second week of May 2019.
Yeah.
By September 2019, I went for interview at USCIS office because at that time, USCIS started conducting interviews for people because this was when the US had a new president, and it was required for.
Oh, really?
That is getting green card under NIW EB2 to come for an interview. So I went for an interview in September 2019, and my petition was approved in November 2019, and I got my green card in November 2019.
Okay.
So from the time
so April 2018 to November 2019.
So that's like 19 months. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you got your green card? Let me take you back to November 2019. How did you feel to have your own green card?
I was very, very, very happy, because I thought.
What really made you happy about it?
It made me happy because before I started PhD, I tried to get jobs, but HR and recruiters, especially in the oil and gas industry, they will ask you, are you a US citizen or permanent resident? Once you say no, they will even collect your resume. It was that bad. Yeah, and even when you're applying to some oil companies, they will write it there on their website. We do not sponsor when you're turning in your application. So that's even discouraging. So it was very, very difficult to get a job. Very, very
I love
difficult.
your story, Bobola.
So,
I love your story.
So when
it's so inspiring too.
So yes, so when I got my green card, I was very, very happy because I knew I already crossed that hurdle. I mean, it's no longer a problem. By the time I finished my PhD or as I was looking for internship then, because I was glad to tell them that I don't require sponsorship. I have my green card.
Yeah. Okay. So the last question, I was saying just now that I love your story. It's very inspiring. From just having a dream that you could actually come to the United States and get your master's and be a permanent resident to actually becoming a permanent resident. And all of that without nothing in print. There was no publication at that time. It's really inspiring, and I think a lot of people will find that as a push to actually put in their own application. What would you tell people watching this interview are some privileges of getting a green card or the US green card? What would you say are some of the perks and benefits and privileges?
Wow, there are a lot of privileges. So I'm going to share the ones I've experienced. So as soon as I got my green card, then I'll stay a PhD student. So I went to the office of the International Student and Scholar. That's the office that is in charge of managing international students in my school. I informed them that I now have a green card. So they updated my status and they closed my file in the office. So when I finished my PhD in May 2019, so usually I was actually ARA, so I was paid twice every month. So I get checks a check every 2 weeks.
Okay.
If I was not a green card holder, my last check would be in May. But because I was a green card holder, I got an extra check.
We take care of our own. Hey, we take care of our own people. That's so interesting. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. So another thing is, I remember when I was in Oklahoma. So the first school I went to was in Oklahoma, and I got my first driver's license in the US in Oklahoma. Yeah. So in Oklahoma, they write temporarily on your driver's license, in red. And that's because you are not a US citizen or a permanent resident. Yeah. When I came to Louisiana for my PhD and I got the Louisiana driver's license, limited was written on my driver's license too. So let's say
temporary.
Let's say a police officer stopped me and I give them my driver's license. Obviously, by then they see that, they know that, oh, this guy is not a US citizen or a permanent resident. So by the time I got my green card, I went to update my driver's license and they removed that limited from it. So that's very encouraging, because no one can guess my status if I just give them my green card. They know that, oh, this guy is either. So if a police officer cannot stop me, he or she knows that, oh, I'm a US citizen or permanent resident, because that limited is not there. So there are things like that. Then another thing is that now you can actually start a business. You can register a business because you're a green card holder. If you are an F1 holder or H1B, you can't do that. Then another thing is, let's say you are on H1B and you lose your job. I think you have like, is it 30 or 60 days to find another job before you leave the US. But yes, for green card holder, you are not subjected to that kind of restriction. So it's very, very good. Then another privilege of being a green card holder is that you are now on your path to become a US citizen. So by the time you have your green card for 5 years or 4.5 years, you can actually turn in your application to become a US citizen.
Meaning you're getting closer.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Then
what else that I talk about is, let's say you just finish your master's and you are applying for grad school, or let's say you want to go to grad school again. I remember that if you are an international student, they have a strict deadline. I think usually like last day of December. But for those that are Americans and US citizens, it's really like, I think March or so. They have like 2 or 3 months extra to turn in their application.
Really?
Yeah. Then another benefit is, obviously, if you are going to school. So let's say, for example, let's say you live in Texas, and you're a green card holder, and you are living in Texas, and you're going to school. Obviously, you'll be entitled to in-state tuition. Yes. You won't pay money as an international student. The money for international students is always very, very high. You'll be entitled or institution. And if you are applying to school in other states, obviously we entered for out-of-state tuition, you will not be charged as an international student.
Yes.
I mean, there are other benefits of being a green card.
Yes, there are a lot. It's just all the benefits green card holder, and there are many. Well, that brings us to the end of your green card story. Thank you so much for sharing and not holding back all the juice. We are more enlightened. I didn't know some things you said tonight. So thank you so much. And I hope next time you would grant me the honors of interviewing you. Thank you, Bobola.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Then for
over to you.
For everyone watching, on February 18 at 12 p.m. Central Time, we are actually holding a seminar on how to apply for green card under EB2-NIW. I'm going to drop the registration link in the description portion of YouTube. Click on it and register. Okay.
Yes, so you
registration
can come
is free
with all your questions and we can address them live.
Yeah. Then another thing is, I actually work with people to write their petition cover letter. We also help people to review and edit their CV. So if you need help in writing your petition cover letter for your green card, please kindly contact us at mygreencardstory@gmail.com. I'm also going to include the email in the description portion of this video. Also follow us on Instagram at mygreencardstory and on Facebook at mygreencardstory. Till the next time we meet, I wish you success and best of luck. And please go turn in your green card petition.
Go turn it in. Let people review it and just get the confidence you can do it.
Bye.